appear as discriminative or something like justice delivered under what circumstances is justice delivered unequal, or do we recognize some form of discriminations in justice delivery?
Good.
I want you to speak on legal basis.
On
Yes,
legal basis.
yes, uh, like sometimes someone will say, okay, this thing is not fair. It's not fair.
Good.
Like the outcome of the court is not fair.
The
Or
outcome of the court is
it's
not
not
fair.
fair. So under what circumstances can we recognize or see some of those discriminations?
That is a brilliant question. You see, with the discriminatory aspects,
Yeah.
when we are looking at justice delivery system in the courts, how long does it take to serve justice to someone who is in need of justice? So I'm going to speak on some few issues concerning justice delivery in Upper East and Upper West.
Okay. Upper East
And Upper West, taking into consideration
Okay.
the number of days that the courts use over there, the regional tribunals and the district courts or the high court
Yes.
used to serve justice to the people,
Okay.
and maybe how it will affect parties involved. So, emphatically, let me read this to you.
Okay.
The right to fair hearing. The right to fair hearing.
Right to fair hearing.
The right to fair hearing.
That means your right to speak in court.
Your right to speak in court. Within a reasonable time by a court, when charged with a criminal offense, and to a speedy and public trial in all criminal prosecutions are some of the basic rights guaranteed by the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. And those regions that I mentioned,
Upper East, Upper West.
Upper East, Upper West, and the speedy delivery of justice system that I was talking about, USA, the Speedy Trial Act of 1974 was passed in USA because of this. For how long should a case filed in the court be dealt with? For how long should justice be served to a party that is
a grave party
that is in need of justice?
Yes.
So the number of days spent in the court can even hinder or discriminate someone from having a fair delivery of justice. Because justice delayed is justice denied.
Justice delayed
is justice denied.
Wow.
Yes. For instance, if I do not have the economic might to be appearing before the court for maybe 103 days, 176 days, 179 days before justice is served, how do I survive? And from this, in these regions, sometimes with criminal issues,
yes,
sometimes it takes 179 or 76 days for justice to be served, or a verdict.
You are welcome to Kimbo Royal Tree, the best hotel in Winneba, close to Winneba Johnson and direct opposite the Guel Filling Station. Among some of the facilities Kimbo Royal Tree offers its clients and customers include: number 1, we have a serene swimming pool where you can relax your body at any time, swim at any time, any day at affordable prices. In fact, you can come here 24/7. We operate all time. We there for you. Kimbo Royal Treat is having an event center where we host every type of event, any event you want, whether birthday party, weddings, any event at all. We can give you the best facility to host your events that you want to host. Paintball Royal Treat is having a gym center where you can gym your body at any time, morning, evening, afternoon, any time at all you feel. And we also have a kitchen where we offer both local and foreign dishes. Any type of food you want, just come to Paintball Royal Treat and we will give it to you at very affordable prices. We also have a clinic attached to the hotel where in case of any emergency or any other time you can go there for the services at very subsidized prices. We've reduced the prices drastically just to favor our customers. Call the contact, the numbers on this list
is given or a final determination is made. So the number of days that a case is tried at the court would also need to be looked at. Okay. For how long would that culprit remain in the custody of the police or in the prison? For how long would that suspect that is arrested and has been remanded, for how long will he stay there for a final determination to be made before, if he is not found guilty, he will be released? So technically, we would have to look at the number of days involved that a case needs to be addressed or redressed.
Are there any, or we are still suggesting, or
that is why I'm speaking emphatically that in the Upper East and the Upper West, the regional tribunal, some of the high courts, it takes 179 or 176 days or 79 days for them to draw conclusion on a case before them.
More than 6 months.
I think 30 a month, let's say
it's about
90 days, 3 months.
Yeah,
or so maybe some 3 months, 2 weeks, or so.
It's too bad.
Too much. So sometimes, and the wonderful thing is that, or the surprising thing is that, most of our citizens, Ghanaian citizens, are not aware of this. Most of our Ghanaian citizens are not aware of this. How number of case, how a case can stay in the court would discriminate someone that needs justice. And how shortly a determination can be made in the court that to serve as an injustice on the part of the other, or that to discriminate the other party.
Wow.
You see, in the in criminal cases, anything can happen.
Yes.
Okay. I don't believe that in criminal cases a final determination will be made in that single day or in that particular day. No. Because evidence,
you need to gather more evidence.
Exactly. Facts need to be provided. So let's say, for instance, I filed a case at the court. Okay. And then within that a particular day, a final determination is given. And maybe the verdict didn't go in my favor. And I have to analyze things out and realize that no, much evidence and facts have not been provided. Am I not being discriminated?
Yes, you are being discriminated against.
So we would have to look at the number of days. So in the US and other courts, it takes 103 days. Sometimes it takes 76, 79 days to deal with court cases. That is the Speedy Trial Act of the US.
You have to do it quick. And here, where can we categorize this?
And sometimes some of the factors that will make a case stay longer in the court for that number of days. Sometimes will have to do with the economic might or the status of the parties involved, their financial strength. If I don't have the financial muscle to be going to the court anytime I'm called upon, it will be urgent.
Okay.
It will keep attending. So sometimes the resources, the status of the people, okay, what the person does, who the person is, also determine the number of days the case needs to be in court.
So,
Justice is
so
served.
is the court going to look into your finances to know if you can always reappear within the shorter days, or they just look at you, maybe your work you do, and then decide that this is the number of days they are going to use in dealing with your case? Or what are some of the factors that cause this delay?
You see, in the delivery of justice, I made mention of the right to fair hearing and trial.
Yes.
So if I need to be heard fairly, I need to be tried fairly, and I'm not able to meet a particular demand of the court, I have to make it known to the court that due to this, and that, I will not be able to appear today. Okay? Maybe I have another things to attend to. Or maybe I do not have what it takes me to appear at the court as at the time the court is calling for me. So the court would have to take into consideration my well-being in this case as well.
Wow.
So in the delivery of justice, so many things are taken into consideration.
Okay, so when you talk about what it takes for you to reappear, what are you referring to? Are you referring to lorry fare to take a car and come, or you have to pay money on subsequent basis?
You see, I would have to say that some of us
Yeah,
who are very close to the court
yeah,
might not know how people are deprived justice. Distance alone can make someone be denied justice. Because if I have to travel, maybe the court is at Ashaman. Yeah. We are in Winneba here.
Yes.
Maybe the court I have to go to seek justice is at Ashaman. And then from my village to that place, the road network is not good. The lorry fare is very high. Maybe you are in a place where you have access to jobs or sources of income. But those in the hinterland, maybe those people, some of them cannot even afford 3 square meals a day. How would the person afford the transportation from there to the port?
Up and down.
Up and down. Okay. So in this case, the services of the human rights institutions, the institutions that give legal aid,
yes,
the NGOs, what will be their contribution to that? So sometimes that is why I made mention that it is a collective effort of every citizen of Ghana to fight for effective justice delivery system. Okay.
Wow.
Sometimes people do not care about others who are living in the deprived areas, yes, or the hinterland, because they are not in their shoes. They think how they can easily walk from here to the court and seek justice is
like
the same
everywhere.
at the other areas. Meanwhile, it is not so. Some of them have not even been to some local areas of hinterlands before. Yes. So there are some things that need to be taken into consideration. Okay.
Wow.
So I would like us to read something under chapter 5.
Okay.
Under chapter 5 of the 1992 Constitution,
okay,
that talks about the fundamental human rights.
Okay.
and freedoms
Yes.
of the people.
Okay.
So,
Excuse me. Let me
okay.
check this. Proceed.
Mm-hmm. So now, we are going to look at
Yes.
the equality and freedom from discrimination.
Okay. Equality and freedom from discrimination.
Equality and freedom from discrimination.
Okay.
Under Chapter 5 of the 1992 Constitution.
Okay.
I'm reading Article 17,
Article 17.
Clause 1.
Okay.
Yes. All persons shall be equal before the law. This Article 17 is talking about equality and freedom from discrimination. Clause 2. A person shall not be discriminated against on the grounds of gender, race, color, ethnic origin, religion, creed, social and economic status. Social and economic
status.
That is where what the person is doing for living need to come into play, need to be considered. If indeed the court need to grant the person fair hearing and fair trial, these things need to be taken into consideration. So we have the legal basis to ensure that effective justice delivery system or justice delivery service is given to the people. And clause 3, for the purposes of this article, discriminate in quotes means to give different treatment to different persons, attributable only or mainly to their respective descriptions by raw, place of birth, political opinions, color, gender, occupation, religion, and or creed, whereby persons of one description are subjected to disabilities or restrictions to which persons of another description are not made subject or are granted privileges or advantages which are not granted to persons of another description.
Wow.
So a perfect example would be the court's decision on James Jachikwesin's case recently,
Okay.
where the court need to listen to him, his plea, okay, to go and conduct his by-election and return to the court. If you really want to grant me fair hearing and trial, then you should be able to understand that I will not be in position to attend or to appear before you for the redress. So this is a perfect example for that. So the court is respecting this fundamental human right.
Yes.
And Article 17, equality and freedom from discrimination.
Wow.
So do not discriminate against me in the court of law because of my political opinion, because of my ethnic background, because of my economic status, because of my color, my affiliations. No.
Religious or whatever.
No.
Wow.
The Constitution of the Republic of Ghana has given me that fundamental human right to be tried and heard fairly, to be given all opportunities that to ensure delivery of justice.
Wow. Wow.
So we the graduates and the youth of today have a whole lot of responsibility to do in the society. As you see, I believe that as a graduate or a youth,
yes,
in the 21st century, you should be focusing on problems in society, providing solutions to problems in society. This, what we are discussing here now,
yes,
we have identified some problems, right?
Yes.
Pertaining to the hinterlands assessment or to justice delivery.
Yes.
So we have identified this problem.
Yes.
What will be the practical efforts as graduates moving forward? So it means that we need to embark on the practical effort to be going to the deprived areas, educating them.
Now
So
we
that
are,
is why some NGOs can there can be formation of NGOs. Okay.
so
To be doing that.
are you encouraging the youth to join these NGOs to advocate for some of this?
Exactly. Advocacy and activism must come to play.
Okay. Okay.
And if that is not in place, people or authorities will undermine our competencies. They will take our fundamental human rights for granted on the basis that we are not aware of what needs to be done.
Yes.
So we some of us who have the opportunity to be exposed to these things need to take it, transfer it to the people in the deprived areas
Through activism.
through activism and
Okay.
advocacy,
Okay.
through public education.
Okay. Wow. So let's still look at the financial. I always want to look at the socioeconomic status of people, especially those in the hinterlands.
Yes.
Now, if someone is suffering injustice and he or she wants to seek justice, for instance, let me make a clear example which is very common in the hinterlands.
Yes.
For instance, if a child is deprived right to education by parents and he or she maybe teenage or at a very tender age wants to seek justice with no money, no lawyer, nothing, where should such people or women suffering is it domestic violence and those home is it what a lot of names, is it domestic abuses, violence,
Yes.
and a whole lot of home issues that couple suffers. Even some men suffer those violence.
Yes, yes. It's very true.
Where should they start? With no money, let's assume they don't have
Your
money.
question is about to expose us to so many concepts.
Okay.
When we talk of that of the safety of the child in the house,
Yes.
is access to education and all that. We have the Children's Act.
Children's Act
We have the Children's Act.
in the Constitution. Hey!
We have the Children's Act in Ghana that talks about how parents need to take care of their children.
Really?
How they need to ensure that the child's well-being has been cared for, has been catered for.
Ghana here.
The child is protected. We have the Children's Act. We
Let's
have
go.
the Women's Act.
Tell us more.
So
Women even have acts.
Google it. Google it right now.
And a man can
The-
impregnate
we have
a
the-
woman's mouth.
We have the Children's Act. That is why I'm entreating you to Google it. You will see the act.
Google, I don't have it at the moment.
You will see.
Are we going to the Constitution?
Oh, yes. I want to take you to. You see, when you are speaking to issues of justice, it's legal. So you need to provide legal grounds
legal
to
grounds.
justify your claims.
Your claims. Correct.
Exactly.
Good.
So the Children's Act is there.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Children's Act is there.
Okay.
And it needs what all that it seeks has to do with the well-being of the child.
Okay.
How the child should be protected in the environment, at home, in the state. That is why if you take a child to the court, how the court will handle the case of a child will be different from that of the adult. The juvenile case.
Wow.
Juvenile Act.
Wow. That one we call it Juvenile Act. Okay.
There are so many things that you see. I don't want to say that we students of today we don't read. I don't want to say that, but I want to say it is time we need to start seeking information as Ghanaian citizens. If not, you sit home, your right will be infringed upon, and you will not even know. You will not even realize it.
Even students.
Exactly. People will be making advances at your expense, and
Wow.
you will not be aware.
Wow.
So it is time we start running after information to protect ourselves.
Sure.
The Children's Act of 1998.
Okay.
Hmm?
Children Act of 1998.
The Children's Act of 1998.
Okay. But hold on, is it in the 1992 Constitution or is it a separate document we can
When we
access?
talk about acts, it's an act of parliament.
Okay.
It's an act of parliament.
Okay.
Okay. It's an act of parliament. A rule and regulation made to protect children.
Yes. So Parliament passed it.
Exactly.
It's not in the Constitution.
No. Like
Okay.
how an act of parliament establishes UW. Yes.
Okay.
So we have those documents and we know sources of constitution.
Wow.
We have authoritative sources and others, customary sources and others.
Yes.
That's statutory sources that are provided by the courts, judicial precedents, the courts, the legislative and other entities.
Exactly.
That are brought together to constitute the constitution.
The Constitution.
That's
even where the name is coming from.
Exactly.
Constitution.
So here we are. I'm taking you to the rights of the child.
Rights of the child.
The rights of the child.
Okay.
The rights of the child, part 1. So I'm reading the Act of Parliament of the Republic of Ghana entitled the Children's Act 1998. The Children's Act 1998.
Children's Act 1998.
I want to read the preamble.
Okay.
Okay. Everything. An act to reform and consolidate the law relating to children, to provide for the rights of the child, maintenance and adoption, regulate child labor and apprenticeship, for ancillary matters concerning children generally, and provide for related matters.
Wow.
Date of assent 30th December 1998. So, Section 1, definition of child, purpose of the act. A child is a person below the age of 18 years, according to the act. Section 2, welfare principle. The best interest of the child shall be paramount in any matter concerning a child. So if a child is put before the court is taking into consideration the well-being of the child first, the welfare of the child first.
Wow. And that will be demanded from parents, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And it continues. The best interest of the child shall be the primary consideration by any court, person, institution, or other body in any matter concerned with a child. Non-discrimination. Section 3. No person shall discriminate against a child on the grounds of gender, race, age, religion, disability, health status, custom, ethnic origin, rural or urban background, birth or other status, socioeconomic status, or because the child is a refugee, according to this Act of Ghana.
Not even a citizen. A refugee, a child is a child.
A child is a child.
Okay.
Within the 4 walls of Ghana, within the boundaries, the territories of Ghana, this is what the Act is saying.
A child is a child.
Below 18, if found within the borders of Ghana, is a child.
Wow.
And if that child should appear before the court is going to take into consideration these things.
These factors.
Exactly.
Wow. Wow.
And let me read Section 4 to you.
Okay.
Right to name and nationality. No person shall deprive a child of the right from birth to a name, the right to acquire a nationality, or the right as far as possible to know his natural parents and extended family, subject to the provision. So it means that there are rules and regulations put in place to regulate all class of people in the state. So when you come to the women's, we have the women's, their act protecting them. Yes. So if you are not aware of these rules and regulations that are available in the state, you end up implicating yourself in so many situations.
I think these are some of the, if I'm not speaking nonsense, I think these are some of the things that students are supposed to be exposed to in classroom.
I'm not a law student though,
because
but I don't give up on my civic education.
because some of these
Yes.
things I don't deem anything so much important than this.
Mm.
Yes, because if you teach a child below age 18 anything in the classroom without adding this, I think the lesson is incomplete.
Mm.
Yes, because this is what will shape the child to a better future.
Good.
And without knowing this, you can undergo all forms of abuses. And
Oh
these
yes.
abuses are not just experiences we work on and we can just proceed,
Mm-mm.
because some of them holds children back.
Sure.
Instead of you grabbing some opportunities that comes your way, some of these abuses can hold you back, and at the end of the day your future will become what it it shouldn't have been.
Yes.
So I think these are some of the things. I don't know why it's hidden in a way. I would say it's hidden because there is no document where you can actually find some of this information. I
But
think
this is a document. That is why I'm saying that a
uh,
body is charged with the responsibility to
to
educate the
spread this,
people.
and it's not spread. I don't see
I
anyway.
follow it.
I don't know.
And our local representatives have the responsibility to transfer this education to us, but they are not doing. Everybody is failing.
Hmm.
I don't know why some people in authority are pretending to be working, and yet nothing is seen.
Nothing is done.
So it's like everybody is
we are
pretending
not,
to be working in the state.
but we are not
They are
seeing
put
anything.
there and they go there to do nothing. They just go to represent their personal interests.
Hmm.
And as for instance, an assembly member, the people choose you to go and represent them. What is going to prevent you from coming down to these people to educate them on what they need
The
to do?
problem is even that the constitution, I think something's supposed to be done about this issue. Let me put it this way. An assembly member should have been knowledgeable in some of these things before, because some the constitution didn't limit experiences, didn't put experiences as a limitation to someone becoming a contesting for an assembly member seat. So people win elections to be assembly members whilst they
And
don't even have any idea.
they even sit at home or go to their farm. They don't even care
They
about the
don't
people.
have any idea about all these things you are discussing here. They don't have any experience. So they just come in, they don't know this thing you are saying, they're supposed to help spread, but they don't know.
You see,
They are not aware.
Ghana, what we are lacking, what our I would say some of our political leaders are lacking is representation. They are lacking the understanding of the word
The word
representation.
representation.
They don't understand the word representation. If you understand representation, what it means to be in the shoes of someone and ensure that the person is served the basic needs, you will never joke with the powers they vested in you. Quickly, you asked something about children's education.
Yes.
And all that. I'm taking you to Section 6 of the Children's Act.
Okay.
That talks about parental duty and responsibility. With the parental duty and responsibility, clause 1 under Section 6 or order 1A. No parent shall deprive a child of his welfare, whether A, the parents of the child are married or not,
Wow.
at the time of the child's birth. So if at the time you give birth to the child,
Maybe
you both people are not married, that is not a grounds for refusal to take care of the child. No,
that child must be cared for.
that child must be cared for. That child must be cared for.
Who asked you to go and do that?
That child must be protected.
Always the question.
B, the parents of the child continue to live together or not. Whether you continue to live together or not, so far as the two of you come together to bring that child to this world, you have the responsibility to protect him or her.
Wow.
To take good care of her.
Wow.
Or him. 2, every child has the right to life, dignity, respect, leisure, liberty, health, education, shelter from his parents.
Education is part.
I will take you to the education part and another section that talks about it is Section 8.